My name is Igal, and you're watching Small Business, Big Leaders.
Join us as we find, follow, and feature courageous, committed, and culture-oriented business leaders on Small Business, Big Leaders.
Today, we're highlighting David Tull and his company, Agentology. Founded in 2013 by brothers David and Avi Tull, Agentology set out on a mission to change the real estate marketing industry for the better. Their goal is to make life easier for real estate agents, letting them focus on what they do best, which is showing homes and closing deals. Through their platform, Agentology works with thousands of agents across the country, selling over $300 million in real estate in the last 12 months alone.
Agentology is a family environment.
They've created a culture of inclusivity.
We're all working together for the greater good.
The community, the family that basically comes from working here is amazing.
He brings such energy into the office.
He just inspires everybody every single day.
He comes up to all of us and gives us our traditional fist bump.
They know to surround themselves with people that they can learn from and grow from.
After spending over a decade as a realtor and broker, David did what every entrepreneur sets out to do, which is to solve one of the biggest problems in his industry. He knew it was time to create a reliable and affordable platform for agents. David has not only co-founded one of the fastest growing companies in San Diego, but he set out to create an incredible culture for his employees, all while making sure he was present for his family, making him the perfect fit for small business, big leaders. Join me as we feature and learn from an incredible leader in my interview with David Tull. David, thanks for being on Small Business Big Leaders.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here and seeing your operation and talking with your employees. So thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So, David, tell us, what is Agentology?
So Agentology is a service that helps real estate agents convert their internet leads into warm, ready-to-go appointments that they can meet with clients face-to-face. So we turn clicks into appointments.
Great. And you were a real estate agent yourself?
I was an agent for many years. I became a broker. I had my own real estate office and agents, and I really kind of set out to create the company that I wish existed at the time, which was a company that would help me really kind of succeed with my business and really help me scale my operation.
And then you started the company, obviously started small, and now it's growing. How many employees?
We are almost 50 employees now.
Almost 50 employees, and there's some growth coming up?
Yep, every month.
Awesome.
Yep.
So tell me about how you built such a great culture in here, because walking around, you feel it. Everyone's happy, everyone's smiling, everyone's just glad to be here.
One of the things that was very important to my brother and co-founder Avi and I was to really keep culture top of mind throughout anything we do. And obviously, you know, we started with just a couple of people, and that grew to 5 into 10 into 20, and now many more. And the trickiest thing is to really keep the culture, right? It's easy when you're a small group and you have kind of a friendly environment. It gets harder when you're growing and you're hiring people and you have new people coming in every week or every month into the business, and to really keep that. So we've made it a mission to keep the culture top of mind, have a lot of activities together, happy hours together, and keep everyone very involved with what's going on in the business so that everyone feels equally a part of it.
So in keeping that culture, would you say that relationships are an integral part of that culture?
Yeah, you know, what's really cool to see here is that a lot of our employees, you know, they hang out after work. They go and they have drinks and they go to the movies and they hang out on weekends. And even employees who have left for greener pastures down you know, along the way, we still see them. We're still in touch with them, and we just have that great rapport with our people and our team members. And I think it's because they understand, and we call them the Agentology family.
All right.
And really that's how we see them. You know, when you come into work is one of those places that you don't really realize and you don't think about, but you spend more time at work than at home.
Yeah.
You know, you're here 8-9 hours a day. You're at home for a few hours and then you go to bed. And so it's really important that you have as much of that, you know, kinship and relationship building that's happening at work to keep people productive, happy, and happy employees are productive employees.
Totally agree with you. So how do you keep your employees happy? You talked about going out after work, going to drink all together, building those relationships. What are a couple of other tricks up your sleeve that you use to keep this culture so great?
We put tequila in the water.
Oh, there you go.
That helps, and I think some of them are onto us, but they haven't said anything. But they are really hydrating themselves. No, I think it's about showing appreciation and gratitude, and showing people that they're important. And the truth is that I'm just one peg of the wheel. Everyone here has such an integral part of the business under their wing that they're in charge of and that they're on top of. And without them, everything falls apart. And so we make sure to let people know how important they are, not just to give them a pat on the back, but really because we want them to take their jobs that seriously and to think for themselves and not really just be someone who's guided to do their kind of day in and day out tasks, but to think like the owner. Think like, that's something we always tell them, like, what would you do if you were me, and how would you do things, and how could you improve things? And so we really encourage participation. We really encourage our team members to bring us ideas, ways we could be improving, making things more efficient. We do make a strong point to acknowledge people when they had a breakthrough, when they helped the customer out in a unique way, whenever they did anything that's sort of outside of kind of the norm of the day-to-day. And I think that shows people that we appreciate them and they know how important they are.
And we saw that today with the gong.
Yeah.
You hit the gong in the celebration, right?
Yeah. So whenever there's a big client that came on, or a kind of any kind of big milestone that we've hit throughout the month, and we have many milestones throughout, we celebrate. And one of our core values is to work hard, but celebrate success. And so we ring the gong, and everyone cheers, and everyone knows something great just happened, and we announce it. And it just keeps everyone excited. And again, that all kind of goes back to making everyone feel a part of what's going on as a whole, and not just being kind of locked into their corner of what they handle.
Great. And you said something about pegging the wheel. One of your employees mentioned to me that you're just one of them. Yeah. That you don't act like the boss who locks himself in the office, comes out and gives orders. How do you do that? Because a lot of bosses, a lot of business owners act like that. They let their ego get to them and they walk out and they give orders. So how do you keep yourself grounded so your whole team feels like you're a part of them and that you're looking out for them?
Well, I think a part of that comes from, we started this company not with a bunch of funding, but bootstrapping it ourselves and putting in the hard work ourselves. And I've worked for other people as well, and I understand and value people beyond the task that they're doing. I understand they have lives. I understand they have needs, wants, dreams, goals that may be different than mine in terms of outside of work. And I think it's important to be as close as you can to those people and to how they see life and how they see their dreams, so that you can compliment and help them through that. I ask people all the time, what are your dreams in life? What is your goal? And it's not always about, well, I just want to make this many sales or do this here at work. It's sometimes wider and very different, because I understand that these people won't necessarily be working here 20 years from now. And so it's very important for me to be ingrained with everybody. And as far as the ego, there's no ego, because I feel like I work for them. They may think they work for the company, but I'm working for them. And I take that responsibility very, very seriously, because if the company ever fails, I feel like I'm failing 50 people and a lot of families that rely on them. It's not just about the people, but also the families they have and people who rely on them. So that's very, very important to us.
So I always believe that a business owner has a lot of that responsibility, like you said, for the family. Mm-hmm. And you just mentioned you looking out for them and that you're working for them. Explain that a little bit more. What do you mean by you're working for them? Well,
every decision that we make affects everybody. Whether it's to grow into this space or this vertical or to create this feature, it all trickles down, because these are the people who are going to operate that. And you got to think through that stuff. And we've made mistakes along the way too. And I think we're also very good at correcting quickly as soon as we identify this isn't working so well, or this is causing too much pressure on this team. Let's find a way to mitigate that. Because you got to create harmony. It's really a symphony, and we're in symphony towers.
There you go.
But really, it's about creating a harmonious experience at work, where there's balance, there is and there's harmony, so that things work well together. And so every decision we make up here it trickles down to what everyone is doing. And I think it's extremely important to take that all into consideration. And a lot of people just make quick decisions and say, oh, well, we'll just do this, and they'll figure it out. and then realize that by the time that bounces all the way through the business, a lot of people may be confused, may not agree with it. Maybe you haven't really listened to everything correctly and you're just making big decisions. And it's important to think of those decisions really from the ground up. And we try to base most of our decision making not from ideas that we have, but actually from ideas that our employees and our customers have. Most of the changes we've made in the last couple of years have come from the ground up, from decisions and features and thoughts and ideas that our customers and our own employees brought to us. And then we, go through that and decide what we want to do, but it comes from there.
Now, one of your core values is transparency and accountability.
Yep.
And what you just talked about, how making the decision from the top down, there has to be a lot of transparency there.
Yeah.
So why is that one of your core values, and how do you guys implement it on a daily basis?
So there are a lot of companies that, you have divisions, like any company has, you have sales and you have marketing and you have customer service and you have all sorts of different aspects of a business. In a lot of companies that I saw, growing up and kind of getting started in the business world after college, you saw that there wasn't a lot of communication between. It was, hey, you're in charge of customer service and here are your tasks and here's how we're measuring you. And I get that it's important to have that, but you have to have that in kind of from a wider lens and see how it really fits into everything. And I think having transparency and accountability is important because, everyone should feel like they're a part of everything in a way, right? Like I'm digging in on this, but I see how this impacts everything else. And having that transparency as an organization is important. At our company meetings, I talk about numbers. I talk about how many homes we're selling. I talk about how many agents we're signing up. Things that, other companies may not want to share. Because, you really want to share revenues and this and that and, with people. Is that really important? Well, maybe it's not the most important thing, but I think it's important to show people where you're coming from and why you start to make certain decisions. And I think it's been very helpful because even though we've made easy decisions in the past and more so hard decisions in the past, I think people have a respect and an understanding that we're making those decisions based on the data we have, the info we have, and looking out for the company as a whole, and having them be more aware of what's happening as a whole and being transparent about it, I think gives them that visibility to be more understanding and to bring more ideas to the table.
That's incredible, and I applaud you for that because a lot of people, like you said, don't release their numbers. They don't want their employees to know exactly what's happening. But the fact that you guys are transparent makes it even more crucial for your culture to grow and keep it as a family.
Yep.
So I want to talk to you about leadership, your leadership.
Sure.
We talked to a couple of employees, and one thing that they talked to me about was this fist bump that you do every morning. You walk in, how's it? There you go. So you walk in and you fist bump every employee that's in here.
Yeah. Most days, I have a few off days or I'm late for a meeting or something, but yeah, most days, I really do make it an effort to walk in and I give everyone the famous fist bump. It just blows up. And that's because we're blowing up, and I greet everybody, I look at them in the eyes, there's a smile there. I'm feeding off of their energy and they're feeding off of mine, so it's a very symbiotic thing. And again, it's showing that, hey, I see you, I recognize that you're here, I recognize that you're here to work and to make our company better, and I appreciate you. It's kind of like a namaste, right? Gotcha. It's powerful, and as powerful as it may be to our team members, it's even more powerful to me.
Incredible.
To see all the people smiling right back at me in the morning. I just think it sets the tone. And now it's natural. Anyone I can go to executives at big companies and I go to naturally try to fist bump them and they're looking at me weird. So there's downsides to it. Yeah. But no, it's great.
One other thing that they said was that you walk in here every day with a smile. You might be late to a meeting or whatnot, but most of the times, I'm sure you have an off day here and there, but you're always really happy.
Yeah.
What happens when you walk through those doors that you know that you have to be happy and motivate your 50 employees? How do you do that?
Well, I walk to work every day, so I have kind of these 10, 15 minutes to myself that I'm just walking, just breathing fresh air, and I'm genuinely feeling grateful. And so I'm setting myself up for happiness ahead of time. But I do feel very grateful. We have challenges like any company, and I hope we always do, because that means that you're growing, and that means that you're normal in a way. But I'm grateful to live in the time that we do, to have the opportunities that we do. I'm grateful to have so many people, behind us and believing in what we're doing. And I'm just genuinely grateful to be trusted, to be and to be followed, and to be seen as a leader. And I take that responsibility very seriously. And I'm truly honored. So when I walk through those doors and I see Agentology, I walk in and I don't try to or remind myself to smile. I just naturally do. It's an instinct. I'm also preparing to see who am I going to see first, and I want to fist bump.
Yeah.
So I think that's just my natural state. But I do think that your energy affects and influences those around you. And there's been times when maybe I'm not necessarily in the greatest of moods, but it's important to think about the positive, focus on the positive, so that you can bring that best you out, because that's going to emanate.
Incredible. I want to ask you a question. So leadership isn't just professional leadership, it's also personal leadership. And we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
And I know you, I know your family, and I know that you're not just a leader here at work, you're also a leader in your home. How do you keep that balance? How do you leave work, go home and separate it, and vice versa?
Well, that's a very important question, and one of the greatest leaders in my life is my father. Something I learned from my father early on was to separate work from home life. And as busy as he was at work, the moment he walked through the door, keys are down, and there's just a different setting for him. It's just the switch is on. He would immediately, and I remember being young, he would immediately kind of put his briefcase down and literally get on all fours and start playing with me and bring out the Legos, and he just goes into a totally different state. And I always remembered that. And likewise, I have family members that were workaholics and worked throughout the night and didn't know how to really balance that out, and didn't become as close to their kids as I am to my father, and how grateful I am for that. I try to bring as much of that leadership that I learned from my father to my life, and really separate the two. And when I walk in, the greatest joy in my life is seeing my wife and my kids. Any problems melt away, any concerns melt away, they can wait. There are times when after the kids go to bed, I get back to it. But I remember being a kid, and I know the impact that has. And so when I look into my kids' eyes, I want them to know that their father was there for them all the time, and that they were the most important things to me.
So many times we believe, or that we're taught, that in order to have a big business, right, or to get more money, we have to work 14 hours and 16 hours a day. So what you're doing, it's incredible. I'm sure that when your kids grow older, they're going to appreciate it just like you appreciate your father.
I hope so.
Yeah. So thanks for being with us, David.
Sure, thank you.
Thanks for being on Small Business Big Leaders.
I appreciate
it's been a pleasure,
it. Thank you.
Thanks for watching Small Business Big Leaders. If you know a great business leader, go to smallbusinessbigleaders.com to nominate them for a show. Thanks.